Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Suresh Kumar Turka from Government College Bheria, Pihova, Kurukshetra. Today we are going to discuss on the topic motivation across cultures of the paper International Human Resource Management. Dear students, after completing this module, you will be able to understand the meaning and features of motivation, to know about the various types and significance of motivation, to explain various theories of motivation in international context, and we are also going to discuss the motivation across cultures. We are starting the introductory part of this topic. The motivation function is one of the most important and least understood aspects of the human resource management process. Human behavior is complex and it is very difficult to understand what motivates the various employees. Motivation is a comprehensive process. It is not just what the employee exhibits, but a collection of environmental issues surrounding the job. The performance of an employee in an organization is a function of the ability and willingness to do the job. Thus, from the performance point of view, employee need the appropriate skills and abilities to adequately do the job. In human resource management, it is very important to correctly define the requirement of the job and the job design. If jobs are poorly designed, improperly described, or there is no connection with the goals of the organization, then the employees will perform below their capabilities. Office technology and industrial engineering techniques must be incorporated into the job design. Without such planning, the management will not be able to motivate the employees. In today's business environment, there must be a level of respect between the management and the workers. This respect can be seen in the form of involving employees in decision making and implementing the suggestions given by them. Now, the meaning and various definition of motivation. Whenever a person does some work, there is always a need behind it, and this need motivates him in doing so. This impelling need is called motive. Under motivation, they will do a work is aroused among the people by making them feel the motivate behind their work. Motivation is derived from the word motive, which means that latent power in a person which employs him to do a work. In brief, we can say motivation is that process wherein the persons are made to recognize their needs, in the realization of which they do hard work for the interest of the enterprise or the organization. Many scholars have given different definitions on the basis of their experience from time to time. Some of the definitions we are going to discuss. According to Kuntas and O'Donnell, to motivate is to induce people to act in a desired manner. According to W.G. Scott, motivation means a process of stimulating people to action to accomplish desired goals. And then next definition is given by Stephen P. Robbins, and this definition states that motivation is the willingness to exert high level of efforts toward organizational goals, conditioned by the effort ability to satisfy some individual need. Characteristics or nature of motivation. The first important characteristic of motivation is it is an internal feeling. Motivation is a psychological feeling which lies inward. First of all, some needs are felt mentally which affect the behavior of a person, and we can say in other words, he thinks of doing some work to satisfy those needs. So, it is an internal feeling. It is a continuous process. Motivation is a continuous process. The job of a manager does not end by motivating an individual once, but he has to be made to realize time and again about his needs by way of motivation. Then next feature of motivation is each person has different motivational factors. Everybody has different aspirations, and it is also clear that they motivate him. Motivational factors happen to be different because of the different needs of different persons. Next feature is motivation may be given in many ways. An important characteristic of motivation is that it has many methods to perform its job. Keeping in view the needs of the people concerned, monetary and non-monetary methods can be made use of. Characteristics or nature of motivation. Motivation helps in securing industrial peace. Apart from motivating people to do their work, motivation helps in securing industrial peace also. Motivation helps the people to utilize their full capability, which results in good and increased production. The enterprise earns profits and the employees get many facilities. As a result of this, both the employer and employees get satisfaction. Next feature is it creates morale. Motivation and morale happen to be different. Morale is created among the people by motivating them, which converts their ability to do the work into their willingness to do the work. It is thus clear that motivation creates morale. Next feature is the universal. Motivation process is universal. All people are motivated to pursue goals, however, cultural influences the specific content and goals. For example, one recent analysis suggests that the key incentive for many US workers is money. For Japanese, it is respect and power, and for Latin Americans, it is an array of factors including family considerations, respect, job status, and a good personal life. Types of motivation. Motivation may be of two types. First is the positive motivation and second one is the negative motivation. Positive motivation is based on reward. The workers are offered incentives for achieving the desired goals. These incentives may be in the form of higher pay, promotion, recognition of work, etc. The employees are offered the incentives and try to improve their performance willingly. Positive motivators are responsible for placement, high standard of performance, participation of workers in the organization. Positive motivation is achieved by the cooperation of employees and they have a feeling of happiness. On the other side, negative motivation is based on fear. Fear causes employees to act in a certain way. In case they do not act accordingly, then they may be punished with demotions or layoffs. The fear acts as a push mechanism. The employees do not willingly cooperate, rather they want to avoid the punishment. This type of motivation causes anger and frustration. In spite of the various drawbacks, this type of motivation is commonly used to achieve the desired results. There may be hardly any management which has not used the negative motivation one or the other time. Now we are going to discuss the significance of motivation. Motivation is an important factor in determining the efficiency of an organization. With its help, a desire is born in the minds of employees to achieve successfully the objective of the enterprise. First significance is the high level of performance. The efficiency of the motivated employees is better than the unmotivated people. It is important to achieve high level of efficiency for the organization, and this can be achieved only through motivation. Many researchers prove high degree of positive correlation between the motivation and efficiency. Then second significance is the low employees turnover and absenteeism. The goodwill of an enterprise is adversely affected by the high level of employees turnover and absenteeism. This creates many problems for the managers. The problem of appointing the employees time and again, arranging for their education and training, etc., lead to wastage of time as well as money. It is impossible to face this wastage in today's competitive economy. Only motivation can save this wastage for the organization. Motivated people work for a longer time in the enterprise and the rate of absenteeism also get lowered. Next significance is the easy acceptance of organizational changes. Changes continue taking place in the organization, like there may be the technical changes, method of work performance and many more. Generally the employees do not accept changes, but changes become necessary keeping in view the demand of time. These changes can be made acceptable only through motivation. Motivated people accept them and perform their duties. Next point is the sweet relations between owners and employees. A high level of motivation establishes sweet relation among the employers and the employees. Motivation fills the employees with enthusiasm and they start accepting orders and information willingly. Thus, motivation makes a great contribution in establishing good human relations in the organizations. Next advantage is the good image of organization, where the employees are motivated through a proper method by satisfying their needs one after the other. A good image of the enterprise is created in the mind of the public. Qualified employees give preference to getting appointment in such an enterprise, making the function of appointing the employees easier. Next point is it increases the morale of the employees. High level of motivation increases the morale of the employees and they face challenges and in case of need are not afraid of taking the bold decisions. It is also helpful in achieving goals. The employees to be shown the right way in order to achieve the predetermined objectives of an enterprise through their medium. This aim can only be achieved through the weapon of motivation. Without motivation, the achievement of goals is only a dream, and motivation is essential to realize this dream. Next point is the good relation among employees. Since most of the needs of the motivated people are satisfied, their behavior assumes calmness. All the employees working in such a human group develop a sense of cooperation with one another. There is thus no conflict among them and there is no hindrance in their work performance. Theories of motivation. There are different theories of motivation, and first one is the Maslow's need hierarchy theory. The most well-known theory of motivation is Maslow's need hierarchy theory, which is based on the human needs. Maslow classified all human needs into a hierarchical manner, and this may arise from lower to the higher order needs. Maslow explained then once a given level of needs satisfied, it is no longer serves to motivate men. Then the next higher level of needs has to be activated in order to motivate the men. In detail, the different needs given by Maslow's hierarchy theory are explained as follows. First need is the physiological needs. These needs are basic to human life and these may be like food, clothing, shelter, air, water and necessities of the life. These needs relate to the survival and maintenance of human life. They put a great influence on human behavior. These needs are to be met first, at least before higher level needs emerge. Once physiological needs are satisfied, they no longer motivate the men. Second needs are the safety needs. After satisfying the physiological needs, the next needs felt are called safety and security needs. These needs find expression in such desires as economic security and protection from physical dangers. Meeting these needs requires more money, and hence the individual is encouraged to work more. Next hierarchy need is the social needs. Man is a social being. He is therefore interested in social interaction, companionship, belongingness, etc. It is this socializing and belongingness why individuals prefer to work in group, and especially older people go to work. Next need is the esteem needs. These needs refer to self-esteem and self-respect. They include such needs which indicate self-confidence, achievement, competence, knowledge and independence. The fulfillment of esteem needs leads to self-confidence, strength and capability of being useful in the organization. However, inability to fulfill these needs results in feeling like inferiority, weakness and helplessness. Self-actualization needs. The final step under the need hierarchy model is the need for self-actualization. This refers to the desire to reach one's full potential, to become everything one is capable of becoming as a human being. Self-actualization is the person's motivation to transform perception of self into reality. International findings on Maslow's theory. Throughout the world, different people have the similar needs to those described in Maslow's need hierarchy theory. The researchers examined the need satisfaction and need importance of the four highest level needs in the Maslow hierarchy. Esteem needs were divided into two groups, esteem and autonomy. The former included needs for self-esteem and prestige, the latter desires for authority and for opportunities for independent thought and action. Upper level needs were of particular importance to the managers. In different countries like United States, United Kingdom, Latin Europe, etc., autonomy and self-actualization were the most important needs for the managers. The same managers concluded that those were the needs with which they were least satisfied. In East Asian countries also, autonomy and self-actualization needs are ranked high by the managers. Some East Asian managers apparently were quite dissatisfied with their ability to satisfy autonomy and self-actualization needs. It is also important to examine motivation of human resources in country or geographic clusters. Each country or geographic region appears to have its own need satisfaction profile. Most of the MNCs consider the individual countries or regions profile and adjust their approach accordingly. Western cultures focused on the inner needs of individuals. On the other hand, Asian cultures emphasize the needs of the society. No doubt that need hierarchy theory is useful in helping to identify motivational factors for international human resource management, but this theory alone is not sufficient. Other content theories such as two-factor theory add further understanding and effective practical applications for motivating the personnel. Next theory of motivation, and that is the two-factor theory of motivation. The two-factor theory was formulated by well-known work motivation theorist Friedrich Hertzberg. The two-factor theory of motivation holds that the two sets of factors influence job satisfaction, and these are the hygiene factors and motivators. Hertzberg labeled the job satisfiers motivators, and he called job dissatisfies hygiene or maintenance factors. Hygiene factors are related to job and included salary, working conditions, interpersonal relations, status, security, company policies and administration. Motivators include achievement, recognition, responsibility, advancement and the work itself. According to the two-factor theory, if hygiene factors are not taken care of, there will be dissatisfaction. Only when motivators are present, there will be satisfaction. This theory criticized on the basis of classification of money as a hygiene factor and not as a motivator. Some experts says that this is a theory of job satisfaction. In this exhibit, there are both the factors are shown, hygiene factors and the motivator factors, which we already discussed in previous slides. International findings on Hertzberg's theory. International findings related to the two-factor theory fall into two categories. One consists of replications of Hertzberg's research in a particular country. This research asks whether manager in country X give answers similar to those in Hertzberg's original studies. In the other category are cross-cultural studies that focus on job satisfaction. This research asks what factors causes job satisfaction and how do these responses differ from country to country. In many countries like New Zealand, Greece, Israel, researchers found that Hertzberg's two-factor theory of job satisfaction generally held true for the managers. One study examined work motivation in Zambia, employing a variety of motivational variables, and work motivation was a result of 6 factors, and these factors were work nature, growth and advancement, material and physical provisions, relation with others, fairness or unfairness in organizational practices and personal problems. A number of cross-cultural studies related to job satisfaction also have been conducted in recent years. This comparison shows that Hertzberg type motivators tend to be of more importance to job satisfaction than are hygiene factors. In case of lower and middle level managers, it is found that job content like responsibility, achievement, work itself, etc. is more important than the job context like working condition, promotion, security benefits, etc. Next theory of motivation is the need achievement motivation theory. Need achievement motivation theory holds that individuals can have a need to get ahead, to attain success and to reach to the objectives. It is important to note that like the upper level needs in Maslow's hierarchy or like Hertzberg's motivators, the need for achievement is learned. Therefore, in the United States, where entrepreneurial effort is encouraged and individual success promoted, the probability is higher that there would be a greater percentage of people with high needs for achievement than the countries like China, Russia or Eastern Europe, where cultural values have not traditionally supported individual entrepreneurial efforts. First, these people like situations in which they take personal responsibilities for finding solution to the problems. They want to win because of their own efforts, not because of luck or chance. Second, they tend to be moderate risk takers rather than high or low risk takers. If a decision making situation appears to be too risky, they will learn as much as they can about the environment and try to reduce the probability of failure. In this way, they turn a high risk situation into a moderate risk situation. If the situation is too low risk, however, there usually is an accompanying low reward and they tend to avoid situations with insufficient incentives. Third, high achievers want concrete feedback on their performance. They like to know how well they are doing and they use this information to modify their actions. High achievers tend to gravitate into vocations such as sales, which provide them with immediate objective feedback about how they are doing. This exhibit shows the Maslow's need hierarchy theory and the need achievement motivation theory. The different steps in Maslow's hierarchy theory, they are the physiological needs, security needs, social needs, self-esteem needs, and then self-actualization needs. On the other hand, there are the different needs like need for survival, need for affiliation, need for power, and need for achievement. International findings on need achievement motivation theory. Various international researchers find out the role and importance of high achievement needs in human resource management. One of the most important work reward factor is achievement. The students from various countries who came to United States of America for higher studies would have a high need for achievement. However, in Central European countries, researchers did not find a high need for achievement. It is important to note that because achievement is a learned need and it is determined by the cultural influence, so it is not universal and many changes over time may be there. The people in high achieving societies tend to have weak uncertainty avoidance. They are not afraid to take at least moderate risk. Achievement motivation theory provides additional insights into the motivation of personnel around the world. Like the need hierarchy and two-factor theories, however, achievement motivation theory must be modified to meet the specific needs of the local culture. Next theory of motivation is the equity theory. Equity theory concentrates on how motivation is affected by people's perception of how fairly they are being treated. This theory states that if people feel that they are treated being fairly, this perception will have a positive effect on their job performance and satisfaction. On the other hand, if they believe they are not being treated fairly, especially in relation to others, they will be dissatisfied and will have a negative effect on their job performance. In Western countries, there are many researches which support the fundamental principle of equity theory. However, internationally, the results of the theory are mixed. The important limitation of this theory is that it appears to be culture bound. In Asia and Middle East countries, employees often accept unequal treatment in order to preserve group harmony. In countries such as Japan and Korea, men and women receive different pay for doing the same work, yet due to years of cultural conditioning, women may not feel that they are being treated inequitable. Thus, still the fact is that equity theory is not universally applicable in explaining motivation and job satisfaction. This theory may help in explaining why equal pay for equal work is a guiding motivation principle in countries like United States and Canada. However, it may have limited value in other parts of the world like Asian and Middle East countries. In this exhibit, the equity theory process has been explained. It explains that there are the inputs and outcomes which is based on self, and on the other side there are inputs and outcomes of the others. In equity theory process, there is comparison of self with the others. Sometimes the workers may got that the perception of inequality, then obviously they have to need to motivate this type of situation. And on the other side, if they are treating equally, means they have the perception of equity, then obviously they will be much more motivated. Next theory of motivation is the goal setting theory. This theory focuses on how individuals go about setting goals and responding to them. In goal setting theory, the specific areas include the level of participation in setting goals, goal difficulty, goal specificity, importance of objectives, and feedback towards goals. Unlike many theory of motivation, goal setting has been continually refined and developed. In United States, employee participation in setting goal is motivational. The transferability across cultural settings of management concepts such as participation in goal setting may well be affected by the prevailing work norms. In American and Israel cultures, participative strategies led to higher level of goal acceptance and performance. The value of goal setting theory may well be determined by culture. In the case, for example, of Asian and Latin work groups, where collectivism is very high, the theory may have limited value for MNC managers in selected. Then there is the exhibit of goal setting theory. In this exhibit, we are saying that there are different goals which are set for specific purposes. Then these goals are discussed with their supervisors. Some performance meetings are held, ongoing feedback and coaching which is related to the employees that have been taken. Then they focus on the different relevant areas and they also give the reward in comparison of results to different employees. Expectancy theory. Expectancy theory states that motivation is largely influenced by multiple factors of a person's belief that effort will lead to performance, performance will lead to specific outcomes, and outcomes will be of value of the individual. Theory explained that high performance followed by high reward and it will lead to high satisfaction. It is important to remember that expectancy theory is based on employees having considerable control over their environment, a condition that does not exist in many countries like Asia. In particular, in different societies where people believe that much of what happens is beyond their control, this theory may have less value like in these economies. It would seem that expectancy theory is best able to explain worker motivation in different cultures where there is a strong internal locus of control like in the United States. In short, the theory seems culture bound and international managers must be aware of this limitation in their efforts to apply this theory to motivate the human resources. In conclusion, we can say that the motivation function is one of the most important and least understood aspects of the human resource management process. Human behavior is complex and it is difficult to understand what motivates the various employees. Motivation is a multifaceted process. Throughout the world, different people have the similar needs to those described in Maslow's need hierarchy. In countries like United States, United Kingdom, Latin Europe, etc., autonomy and self-actualization were the most important needs for the managers. In many countries like New Zealand, Greece, Israel, researchers found that Hertzberg's two-factor theory of job satisfaction generally held true for the managers. In Western countries, there are many researches which support the fundamental principle of equity theory. However, internationally, the results of the theory are mixed. The important limitation of different motivational theories is that these appear to be culture bound. Thank you.